I am so honored to be at COP26. It's such a monumental event tackling the crisis of our time, which is the climate emergency. So I'm stoked to be here. It's my second time ever in Glasgow. I haven't been able to get into Glasgow yet, but yeah, I'm just excited to be here and a part of this. I think that as artists, we are so lucky to have a platform, to have people that follow us and support us and listen to what we have to say, because I feel like, especially in today's world where social media is so powerful, it's so just easy to get swallowed up and get lost in how much information is out there. So for me as an artist, I'm always trying to be vulnerable and honest in my songs. I think that most recently I put out a song called Hopeless Romantic, and it really talks about visions of grandeur that I have in my own life, and not kind of reality meeting what I'm dreaming of in my head. And I feel like if I'm going to relate that back to kind of what we're talking about at the event, being an artist, being on a panel, it just kind of is having plans, reality not meeting them, being let down, being disappointed by them, and then wanting to do more. And I think for me, I don't know, it's my own head, but like the definition of insanity is doing something and having it not work out and then doing it the same way and hoping for a different outcome. And that is kind of how I feel the world leaders have been on climate change, and hopefully with COP26 and everyone meeting in Glasgow, that can change. As an artist and having a platform and having a lot of eyes on you, there is a lot of pressure that is kind of like, well, you have all this influence, you have all this reach. I am just one person. I'm new to the climate fight. I am trying to do my best to do good with the platform that I'm so lucky to have. That said, what people need to be conscious of is, though yes, all of us can do our part, it really is the people at the top, the leaders of the world who came to COP26 to make promises, to commit to reaching certain benchmarks by a certain time. They're the ones who can do something about it. A lot of people get angry when artists or athletes step out of their realm and say anything that has anything to do with politics or science, really, just anything outside of the arts. And yes, I am an artist, yes, I am a musician, yes, I have a platform, but I'm also a human on the earth, and I think we all get to have a say, and I think that's important to get across. So, I don't know, if anyone's offended by what I'm saying, they're like, that's your own problem that you have to work out. The bushfires in 2019 in Australia were devastating, and part of the reason the world took notice was because I think it was Pink got on social media and started yelling about it, and that created a social firestorm, and then that social firestorm had a knock-on effect, and then the whole world was pressuring the Australian government to do something about these bushfires that had been burning since like August, the August before the social media firestorm happened. I'm using the word firestorm, it's probably like not the right word to use for the bushfires, but there you go, or it's really appropriate. But when it comes to climate change, for me that was, and I know I should have been aware earlier in my life, but that was the real like point of change for me when I started going, you know what, this isn't great, and reading up on the smoke that is going to be in the atmosphere going around the world for years to come. It still is. That's devastating, and it's obviously affecting the climate, weather patterns getting more intense. I think that the pressure to understand climate change and the effects of it is so overwhelming, and you have a lot of people yelling about it on social media, and you kind of, because there are so many people who do have amazing knowledge on it, who are speaking so eloquently on social media about it and in the media in general, I think it sometimes can get overwhelming. And so as someone who is new to my climate journey, I don't claim to be a climate scientist at all. It's just being aware, it's kind of just like, try and read, like, even on the UN website on climate change, bullet points on various statistics, various facts about climate change. That is where you can start. But I don't blame anyone for not knowing what it is or feeling overwhelmed and not and kind of shying away from it because there is so much going on, and because in today's culture, saying anything out of step could get you cancelled. It's scary. It's scary for a lot of people, especially young people. That said, young people are leading the way in pushing leaders to do something. And just like I said before, the Australian government was pressured into really battling these bushfires. I remember reading something like it was the biggest deployment of armed forces since World War II in Australia to fight the fires. So it's the power of social media, it's the power of positive change, and it's the power of the young people coming up and standing up and saying, this is our world and we want to live in it, and don't mess it up. You know what? I've been learning from the young people, so if there is advice that I can give is to just keep doing what you're doing. Be vocal, don't be afraid to stand out. If anyone is trying to silence you or stop you from expressing an opinion that might ruffle someone's feathers, then they're not worth having around. Surround yourself with like-minded people and don't be afraid to honestly just keep doing what you're doing and teaching people like me to be more conscious about what's going on. I mean, you know, I am very aware that I am just one person. I'm very lucky to have the platform that I do have, and I'm trying to be better about just being climate conscious when it comes to things like touring, things like recycling, reusing, eating less meat, you know, taking shorter showers. And these are all things, really simple things that people can do. At the end of the day, keep pressuring the people in charge, because they're the ones who are going to be able to make meaningful change and really fund the fight. Are you afraid of the Earth continuing into the future? Are you afraid that the decline of global capitalism will, I don't know, why are you afraid of that? Because my worry is that the leaders of the world won't be able to curb capitalism to save ourselves. And that is a really dark worry to have as a young person. So that's my question. What are you afraid of? I just want to say thank you to COP26 for inviting me, for giving me a platform to speak about something that is really the great fight of our time, being the climate emergency, and that's what it is, an emergency. So if I can just lend any advice, it's to take the pressure off yourself. Don't think that by being overwhelmed by how much information there is out there and stepping away from it is doing something wrong or anything. Just take it one day at a time and try to be conscious of the world around you, because we've only got one.